Oh yeah, you could be. That's when you know it's a good Sunday. Good morning, family. Good morning, friends. Happy Sunday. Excited to have with us today Caress Sahura, who will be leading us into song. So come on in.
Welcome, welcome everyone. Come on in. So happy to be here this Sunday morning. Standing outside the door of love and mercy, you wonder if there's a place there for you. You know there's peace inside, but still you're searching for someone who understands the pain that you've been through. Where the doors are locked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. You'll find your place of rest in the arms of spirit. God's waited so long for your homecoming day. God knows the peace you seek and hurt your feelings. Spirit wants to hold you and to wipe your tears away. Where the Father waits with open arms. God is calling out your name. So come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. There is room enough in the house of love for someone just like you. So come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Thank you so much.
Wow, well, thank you, Caress, the choir, our music team. Welcome and good morning. Big thank you to you all. I'm Lindsay Ambrose, and I'm a communications and community builder here at Unity, as well as a member of this community. And it feels great to be here. It's a little rainy outside, but here it feels really nice and warm and welcoming. Yeah, so how about let's say hi to the people tuning in remotely as well. Welcome to our live stream. And this morning we are in for a treat. Today we have Reverend Heidi Alfrey, the minister of Unity Ventura. She is a transformational leader, speaker, and teacher of authentic spiritual living. Her journey with Unity started 35 years ago, originally introduced to her through a 12-step program. Lots of compliments, right? She served in Unity Ministries in Fort Lauderdale, Maui, Kansas City, Chicago, and Santa Barbara. So we're happy to have her back in Chicago today with us. She was ordained with Unity in 2011 and holds a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. Heidi's philosophy is that we are all diamonds in the rough. As Michelangelo taught, one just needs to chip off what is not part of the masterpiece that is you. Reverend Heidi's passion in co-creating spiritual communities in which people find their tribe, follow their passion, and live their faith, as well as connect with their inner divinity and manifest a world that works for us all. So please join me in welcoming Reverend Heidi.
Oh, I think I hear a sound. That's what we call authentic Sundays. You might think your ship has sailed, but your ship has come in. And let me tell you about your ship. Your ship is a cruise that is going into a very warm part of the world, leaving from San Diego in January. What goes on here in January? Yeah, right. Okay. I just want to, where am I? Yes. So snow, yes, cold and the coats and boots. And so how many people enjoy warm, beautiful weather and breezes? Yes. So we are embarking on a cruise. It's actually called Spirit at Sea. It's a group that has joined many years ago, and we take cruises with people from Unities, from Center for Spiritual Living, and so you're there cruising with your spiritual family, and it is so much fun. It's you meet people, that you meet friends that you didn't know you had. And so I invite you to come. The dates are January 6th through the 13th, 2024. What a great way to start the year. Do you have oh yeah, there it is. Slide right up there. And we have about 10 of you from this community that are going. Rev Ev and Scott are coming. Mark and Michelle, Susan and her daughter, yes. Debbie, Becky, oh gosh, by the time the cruise happens, Becky and I will know each other. So, you will, I'm just inviting you, if you have, do you like to have fun? Right? Do you like to really not cook for a week? So all of that, and we're going to be in the water, not in the water, on the water. That'll help people. With whales jumping, it's the perfect time of year to be in that part of the world. So we're going from San Diego down to Baja, Mexico, Cabo, and 2 other stops there. But the days at sea will have spiritual talks. Karen Drucker is joining us, so we'll have some beautiful music. And I just invite you to say yes. It's so affordable. As a friend of mine used to say, you can't afford to stay home. Seriously. So all that's supposed to be funny. But anyway, January 6th through the 13th, and I'll be back there. This is the month you have to say yes. So if you've been thinking, this really sounds like fun, it's your time. Give yourself a week, just a week, of experiencing the joy of being you. Okay, I'll be back there in the back, and we could do the little sound again. Yes. Come see me. There we go. It's just a little toot. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, more fun in January. Hi, Ron. Anyway, we'll see y'all. And come talk to me. Yeah. All right.
Oh, good morning. It sounds exciting, cruising, like today, cruising on a Sunday afternoon with all the rain. Good morning. My name's Cabrini. The daily word for today, September the 17th, is non-resistance. And it comes from the daily word from August the 26th, 1989. The prayer thought is, I practice non-resistance by giving life to the light touch. The determination to be inflexible, to resist someone or something, can seem to consume our energy and time and erode our emotional and physical well-being. Rightly so, Determining to be flexible and non-resistant means giving our lives the light touch. The light touch is practicing non-resistance. It is believing in God and believing that we do not have to force persons or situations to comply with what we think is right. Giving all the light touch is placing the challenges of life in the light of God for a perfect outworking. To help us remember to give life the light touch, we can hold in mind an adage found on a sundial. I mark only the sunny hours. Marking the sunny hours can be compared to focusing on light. It is being flexible and non-resistant. It is placing all that concerns us in the light of God. From John chapter 9, verse 5, as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. The daily word for today, non-resistance.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. You are the face of God. Sing along if you want. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. One more time. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Thank you.
Did that song touch everyone's heart? Mm-hmm. So I'd like you to take a moment and look at someone, your brother and your sister next to you, and say, "You are the face of God." Let's do that. You're the face of God. You might not have heard that yet. You're the face of God, yes. It's written by Karen Drucker. Yes. Thank you so much, Caress. That's wonderful. You know, I forgot, or let's just say it wasn't meant to be until this moment, that we are having our centering prayer. So let's do that right now as the face of God. We breathe into this brand new day, to this brand new moment that's never been before. So I invite you, when you breathe in, to experience yourself for the first time. The past is over. This is the moment. This is the beginning of the rest of your life. We are all here by divine appointment. We are all inheritors of these incredible teachings. Our lives have changed because we see ourselves differently as the face of God, the hands of God, the feet of God, the arms of God, the consciousness of God. And so there's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do. There's just the experience of breathing and being and knowing that that is enough. That is everything. We have each other, we have these teachings, and we've been given a life and this amazing planet on which to live it. That is the fullness that we experience right here and right now in great gratitude. And so it is. Amen. We've already had such a great conversation about being the face of God. You know, I could kind of sit down now because it's a lot to believe that we are everything that is. I have been using an affirmation. I've been doing a series on prayer for the last 7 weeks in California. We've had a class, and it's been a wonderful class because at Unity, when you show up for something, we say, what do you believe? What's working for you? What would you like to release? How would you like to see yourself as everything you think you're looking for? How would you like to feel that or know that about yourself? And so it's quite an exciting way to live. It also breaks up and almost, forces you to see the ways that you're unkind to yourself. Because you're the face of God. You're the face of, you are it. So an affirmation that I've been using is, all that is, I am. Can we say that together? All that is, I am. And let's say it 2 more times. All that is, I am. All that is, I am. It's comforting. It's also, well, what about that thing I don't like? Or what about that thing I do like? Oh, all that is, I am. So Unity, when I came into Unity, it sounds like a long time ago now. I actually was just newly sober from a career of drinking, running from my pain. And that was the best I could do at the time, but the police officers weren't very happy about it, driving and drinking, and it didn't represent myself very well. I don't have any of those mug shots, but I don't know I know it didn't represent me well. But Unity was such a different way of seeing the world. It was this idea that that there was something so powerful in me that I had not tapped into and had never been taught. So this is something, as you know, that occurs to you in sort of chapters of yourself, that you start to awaken and you start to see ways to experience life that you hadn't known before. And so I'm going to just have a little survey, because I think a lot of us saw God in a way of not a sense of energy, that wakes you up in the morning, but something outside of us. So I'll just ask you, when you learned about the word God, was it an inner experience or an outer experience? Outer, all right, okay, I'm not alone here, all right. Was it a female or male experience? Male, okay, or, it could be a, non-gender, because that could work also. Was it a person or a principle? I- It doesn't sound like that was much fun. Yes, yeah, all right. Okay, but I kind of like that one even more, a person or a principle. Because what we're talking about today, because the title of my talk is Mindful or Mindless, is that this is principle we're talking about. This is law we're talking about. This is science we're talking about. So this isn't sort of my opinion versus your opinion. It's what is and the ability to live your what is, live your all that is I am. And you'll find that there are things that feel so good to you and that you believe, and you can bring things from your past if they feel empowering. But a lot of things we bring from our past, we feel that we're just supposed to do, or that we're, people will say, I want to go on the cruise, but I'm afraid and then we go on with our story. But what I am interested in is that very beginning of the sentence when you said, I really want to go, right? Because that, for me, is God speaking through you. And then we have all the reasons why we don't deserve or we can't do, and right then we are omitting the divinity. So we're here to remember who we are, and I'd like to tell you every single thing that happens in your life is for you to remember these principles, these powers that you have. I have things, we all do, have things that happen all the time, and sometimes I can see them as, oh wow, this is going to help me focus on the powers that I have, rather than, why is life always happening like this to me? Why me? And I've never come to serenity through why me. And I've done why me a lot. Oh boy. Or why is that person in my life making me do this? Right? So it's a habit. And so what we do here is we start new habits. And you will be amazed at the difference how you live. And I know all of you, if you've come here more than once, there's a difference in how you live. See, prayer, as we talk about, is not a stagnant experience, but an ever-living, ever-evolving, personal, sacred experience for the prayee and the prayor. And you will work with people, you'll pray with people, and people are praying with you when they call you and say, I have a flat tire. Right? They may call AAA first, but then they're going to call somebody that we know. We want to encourage people to know that this is a temporary situation. But some people will have challenges in their life, and life feels like it's just it's devastating. And then we talk about it all the time. I remember a little kid that I was around and helping out with, and his train set, the trains wrecked into each other, and it was laying on the floor, and I walked past him, and he goes, my whole life is over. Then I went, I get it, kid. I get it. When these things happen, it's like, right? And I'm learning how to use these principles so I can see that as funny, even watch the thought that my life is over when things happen. And to start to do what I'll be talking about, using these 12 powers that are within us, that Fillmore saw, Charles, as the kind of these energy places, these powers. If you were, we always have the superheroes, but you're a superhero, right? So we have these powers and we often don't use them. Okay, so we're talking about law here. I was walking with my friend Lindy the other day, and the first thing she asked me, she said, we were walking, and she goes, what excites you right now in your life? And I went, isn't that a great question? Because I could have launched into something else. And I thought, oh, this is a great way. See, but this is what we do here. Because she didn't really want to hear about, the trouble du jour, right? Just what excites you right now? And I went, oh, yeah, thank you. There's a lot that's exciting me right now. But see, so that shifted the whole energy of the conversation. Prayer's happening, God's happening, it's going on, and we're drawing it out in each other. But sometimes we can forget about the law, and we can break it, and our life just ends up, feeling imprisoned. Okay, it's a little humor here too. All right, So sitting on the side of the highway, waiting to catch speeding drivers, a state police officer sees a car puttering along at 22 miles an hour. He thinks to himself, this driver is just as dangerous as a speeder. So he turns on his lights and pulls the driver over. Approaching the car, he notices that there are 5 elderly ladies. It says old, but I don't even like that word anymore. 5 elderly ladies, 2 in the front seat and 3 in the back, eyes wide and white as ghosts. The driver, obviously confused, says to him, "Officer, I don't understand. I was doing exactly the speed limit. What seems to be the problem?" "Ma'am," the officer replies, "you weren't speeding, but you should know that driving slower than the speed limit can also be dangerous to other drivers." "Slower than the speed limit," she said. "No, sir, I was doing exactly the speed limit, 22 miles an hour." She said a bit proudly. The state officer, trying to contain a chuckle, explains to her that 22 is the route number, not the speed limit. And she said, "Okay, I appreciate it, sir, I really do, and thank you for pointing out my error. But before I let you go, ma'am," he said, "I have to ask, is everyone in the car okay? These women seem awfully shaken, and they haven't muttered a peep this whole time," the officer said. And she says back, "Oh, they'll be all right in a minute, officer. We just got off Route 119. You've driven with some of those people, have you? So if we don't understand the law, we just keep breaking it, and we end up in trouble, and we end up always going, "But I'm doing the right thing," but everyone in your car is very concerned. So it is humorous, and I'd like to really take this humor into this conversation about prayer. Because when I came into Unity and they said Unity is founded on prayer, I thought, oh no, because prayer for me was very serious. Prayer for me was reciting things. Prayer for me, I grew up in a traditional faith, and we said this prayer every single Sunday, and this, and the kneeling, and the standing up, so it was a lot of what I was told to do. So prayer for me wasn't a free experience. It wasn't open. It wasn't creative. It was like, oh, not that. But I had to learn that in Unity, prayer is really your state of mind. Charles Fillmore says that your personality can cover up the I am that you are. You know, this way that we've learned to present ourselves, or the way that we think the world can accept us is often covers up the I am, the face of God. It's also said, and he says that prayer, he says, you claim your divine identity moment by moment, choice by choice. What you know yourself to be in any moment determines your approach to prayer. Do you see that prayer is not changing some guy that's in the sky, some absentee landlord person, this dysfunctional parent? It's your own experience of who you are in the world. How much of this God self do you experience yourself to be? So when life happens, you can see life as happening for you rather than to you. And that is a big shift. Isn't that true when you see life happening, the experience that's happening to you, and you can think back to that difficult person that came into your life, and that you became a more compassionate person, or you became maybe a person that was able to say, I'm not going to do that anymore. You might have gained a boundary. You might have really learned a lot about self-care, but there was something that you have learned through everything, the exciting things and the challenging things. You know, Buddha was another great spiritual teacher, and Buddha's teachings teach a lot, like Unity teachings, about the end of suffering. Does that sound good? All right, okay, good, because, you know, I've always thought that sounded good. And Buddha, when he sat under a Bodhi tree for 6 years. So if any of us meditate for 6 years under a tree, I can promise you enlightenment is going to happen. And you just keep emailing me and say, you know, I'm still under this tree. And he kept touching the ground to say, I'm connected to this planet, but am I in my essence of spirituality yet? And when he would still dealing with what he was calling dukkha, the challenges, the stress of life, he's like, nope, not evolved yet beyond this challenge. So he said in his life that when he was older, his body was in a lot of pain. But what he didn't have was suffering because of his consciousness raising. He said that the reason that we deal with suffering is that we want to push away pain. We don't want to deal with it. We want to, drink alcohol, use drugs, you talk to other people, gossip, get the whole thing, watch television, whatever you're doing to distract yourself. One way, and he says the other thing we do is we start doing the why me's. Why did this happen to me? And you will not find your way. That is the mindless way to live. You won't find mindful out of there. I can tell you because I have done it and done it and done it. And I find other people, I have some people that feel sorry for me, but pretty soon my pals that are my spiritual family will say things like, maybe you should call somebody else that needs some help and you could quit getting stuck in your own stuff. I'm like, I thought you were going to commiserate with me, but you're not, are you? And because there's science that goes into these teachings. So Buddha said that we get the first arrow, which is the thing that is the challenge, and then the second arrow is our story about it that goes on, and that's where the suffering is. And this is not, we know that this is the human condition. The human condition. Things happen. And then there's the ability to use these 12 powers that I'm going to put up here, and I'd like you to look at them, and you can find them anywhere in our Unity literature. You can even Google the 12 powers of man and woman. So they're faith, order, love, life, imagination, strength, wisdom, release, zeal, understanding, power, and will. And you have them all, you face of God, you, right? We do. And I'll tell you something that happened to me, because these principles really help me work through the things that happen to me. And usually it's when I'm putting a talk together, because it's like, it's good for me to do a talk. It's really, really good for me to live what I'm talking about. And I've had people question me, are you practicing what you preach? I'm like, oh, I hope so. But sometimes I just keep practicing, right? So I am here with, I'm staying with Rev Evan Scott, which is a huge blessing. Other people that, we don't go down the drain very quickly over there. And I didn't rent a car, and I am Ubering. And I've met the most amazing people Ubering, just beautiful human beings. And so it's been a really wonderful time. And but I was rushing. Anybody rush? Right? And I was rushing because my story of time and time sometimes don't get along. They're different stories. And so I was rushing, and I had everything going on, and I jump in the Uber, and I was going somewhere, and I jump out of the Uber, and I think I have everything, but I go to pay the bill where I'm leaving, and I realize I don't have my wallet. Yes, and my wallet, because I put everything, it has my passport, it has my driver's license, it has, I think my identity is that wallet, right? That's what it felt like. Mm-hmm. I didn't know where it was, and dear Scott is around. I'm sure it's in the room at home. He's looking all around. We actually suspected one of the dogs had drug it. I'm like, I'm going to interrogate Maya. That Maya, I am sure it's her. And so it's everybody's. We've got all this. I'm feeling a lot of stress. I went to dinner with Michelle and Mark, and everyone at the table said, "Oh, that's happened to me." And this worked out and that worked out. There wasn't one person that went, oh, come on, you're not going to get on that plane. Forget it, and what is the thing? Has anybody else ever lost anything? Okay, so what's the first thing that happens to you when you lose something? What goes on in your mind? I'm such a ding-dong, right? I'm so forgetful. I do this all the time. Why am I, right? And so this is the part where you forget you're the face of God. Right, because this thing happened. Does it really affect my value as a human being? But boy, I think it does. right? And I was feeling the worry and the stress and the, how am I going to do this and how am I going to fly, and I'm going out of the country next month, and it was, the train is taken off out of the station of my mind, and it's just, and I was really struggling. So the first part of our prayer practice in Unity is to relax. I wasn't relaxing, and I went to yoga. Okay, which was a very, very smart move, because in yoga, I can't run around and get everybody all stirred up with my story. And what I realized, I was like, what power, let's say I don't find this wallet. Because what I really wanted, I know there's 7 weeks of talks going in, is my main thing that you want to do when you start your prayer practice is, what is my intention? What is my intention? Because I would think my intention was to get my wallet back. But that's not an intention. My intention, because maybe I don't get my wallet back, right? So my intention needs to be, which I realize, I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel peaceful around this, whether I get this thing back or not, because I don't know what's going to happen. We tend to do this in Unity. Let's hold, you're going to get your wallet back, right? And but see, the point is now we're set up to be, if I don't get my wallet back, I'm happy. If I don't get my wallet back, I'm not happy. So the point is that I had to think, what is the power that I want to embrace that's larger than this fear and this worry? And the thing that I got in the middle of my pose was the strength to know that if I have to go and get a new license, if I have to get a new passport, if I have the strength to do that. It's going to be people, it's going to be processes, and I get to surrender, because what's happening during this process is I'm not having joy. My moments of my life that they're not coming back, I am spending worrying, right? I am spending in this kind of war with the universe, right? And then I was in the system of Uber and contacting an Uber driver. Have you done that? That's fun, and these people that get on and how can I help you? You can't help me. You just keep going around and around, yelling at your phone. So the point is that I needed strength. I needed, what was the other one I got? I needed some wisdom to say, there's more to me than this wallet. There's more to me than a relationship that's gone awry. Whatever's going on in your life, I want you to have this thought, whatever's happening, there's a higher part of me. There are 12 powers I have. And so what I've learned about prayer and really practicing it, we had a book that I was looking at that might be one that you'd want to research. It's How to Pray Without Talking to God. Have you heard of this book? It's written by a Unity minister, and the title for me was I didn't want to kind of push it on people, because I thought, this is going to make people mad. And one of the prayer chaplains at Unity of Ventura, when I said I'm going to teach from this book, she goes, I hate that book. I will not come to the class. I went, okay, but you could tell me about it. But the point is, how do we pray without talking to God? How do we sit and relax and use one of these 12 powers? Because see, prayer, my friends, is not coming up with an outcome. It's not stressing. It is actually asking yourself and whoever wants you to pray with them, and that can be anybody, what is your intention? I have a friend, when I call her, she says to me, Heidi, how can I help you? I'm like, well, I just wanted you to listen to me complain. She's like, no, how can I help you? Do you see what I'm saying? She's calling me to come up with my intention. Do you see how different this is when we know we are this powerful being? And I can tell you, the wallet story happened for me to go back to my powers. And by the time I left yoga, I pretty much surrendered. I had a friend that I'd called that was texting me, I'm really sorry to hear this. I'm like, hear what? Right? And we talked a bit about it, but I was walking through town. I saw all these people, you have a lot of tourists here. I was one of them yesterday. And everybody's trying to take pictures, and I get people's camera and say, can I take your picture together? I did that like 10 times, right? And everybody, thank you. But see, I didn't have to drag my wallet story into my whole day. I still didn't know if I was where it was. But do you see how powerful that is? To not have to know, not have to have it all figured out, because all we've got is this breath, this moment. this key on the piano, this note coming out of my mouth. This is all we have. And it's everything. It's everything. So I invite you to really see that prayer is kind of your get out of jail card, right? Because the jail is the mind that is uneducated, that has not moved into the consciousness of what unity prayer offers us. Now, I'm going to show you a little film clip because this can feel like it's serious, but it's not. It's like, take a picture of those 12 powers and start to ask yourself, or ask your friends, because they can usually come up with it quicker, what power could I use around this, okay? Now, this is a film clip that is from the film Bruce Almighty. Y'all remember that film, Jim Carrey? So Bruce is a guy that's like he's lost his wallet every day. And he wants to be a newscaster, but he's never promoted, and everybody gets ahead of him, and his whole life is, I want something out there, and he has no idea it's in here. So a lot of things happen. He breaks up with his girlfriend named Grace and Jennifer Aniston, and so he is now just in such a turmoil, and he goes out in the street and he gets hit by a bus, and so he ends up in heaven, or the consciousness of heaven, and God in this movie is Morgan Freeman. And if you got to have an outside God, Morgan Freeman will do. All right. So basically, he's saying, and he ends up getting some prayer beads during this clip where they were Grace's prayer beads, and he's telling him two things. He said, talking about who he really is, and then he said, let's have a prayer. Tell me about how you would like to pray. So here we go, Bruce Almighty.
Bruce, you have the divine spark. You have the gift for bringing joy and laughter to the world. I know, I created you.
Quit bragging.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the spark.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to pray, son. Go ahead. Use them.
Lord, feed the hungry and bring peace to all of mankind. How's that?
Great. If you want to be Miss America. Now, come on. What do you really care about?
Grace.
Grace. You want it back?
No. I want her to be happy. No matter what that means. I want her to find someone who'll treat her with all the love she deserved from me. I want her to meet someone who'll see her always as I do now. Through your eyes.
Now that's a prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, you took the job, Bruce, so I suggest you get to it.
So what happens to Bruce? Right? He surrendered. See, he wanted grace in his life, but he wanted grace because he didn't like himself. And so he says, the invitation is who you are as a person that brings joy to the world. Who you are, this gift that is you, that's the whole enchilada. And when he knows this, then he can surrender these things we grasp for. When I was able to tune into this power, my wallet, I don't care. If I get stuck in Chicago forever, I like this place. I mean, like really, you just get to laugh with it, right? What's the worst thing that could, and we don't even have to go into the worst thing that can happen. It's just that I can surrender because I deserve to be peaceful. I deserve to have an open heart. I deserve to feel like the face of God. I deserve to call in what I already have, my divine inheritance. So we see when Bruce really, what matters to you, he says grace, but then what's really happening is he's tuned into the love that he is, that I have a person in my life or I don't, it doesn't matter. We're just love. Because what prayer does is it brings you into oneness. There isn't a me and there isn't a you. I can love you because you're so amazing, I love Martha. But the thing about loving people and loving our creatures and our pets and each other is that it's what we are. And so we get to remind each other. And I'll tell you the times where people are in pain or you lose something, that's where the vulnerability just rips you open, And it really is. This is what this life is all about, is to experience this deeper part of you. And that's why you can see things not happening to you, but happening for you. Aristotle says that the mark of an educated mind is to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. To entertain a thought like something is lost without needing to hang on to it, without needing to let it define you. So in closing, Fillmore says, and I want to say one other thing, what is happening to us as we are experiencing these powers and allowing ourselves to be more free is it's what's called in Unity chemicalization, that you're changing cellularly. And I'll tell you, for me to have half a day and then to go right into prayer was a miracle for me because I could spend a long time, hanging on to the problem. So it's chemicalization, and you're going to see that things are happening within you. You won't even feel them, but then something will happen that might have happened 5 years ago, and you react completely differently, right? You enjoy things more. You go on trips that you don't mind. You think, I'm not sure, and you go anyway. And it's like you start enjoying yourself more. Charles said, let this be your mission, to express all that you can imagine God to be. Let this be your standard of achievement. Never lower it or let yourself be belittled by the cry of sacrilege. Sacrifice. We heard a lot about that in more tradition religion. You can attain to everything you can imagine. If you can imagine that it is possible for God, then it is possible for you. All those 12 powers. So we don't want to be like the little gal that's driving the route speed. We want to align with divine law, with being the face of God, and to live that way and to see issues in your life as a curiosity about what power within me needs to be acknowledged and needs to be created that's already there. Mary Oliver, great poet, I want to end with one of her poems. And there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing that you could do, and determined to save the only life that you could save. You are the face of God, and so it is. Yeah. So let us have a moment of meditation. Meditation is the third part of prayer, the 5-step prayer method. So we have relaxed. We have been concentrating on these scientific spiritual principles, and now we're taking a moment to meditate. I am free. I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free. I am unlimited. Right now. Right now. I am the face of God. I am the qualities of God. I am the magnificence of God. I'm the vibration of God. I release the need to see myself or to hold myself in any way of being broken or not as good as. Babies love exactly who they are, and because they accept the God that they are. So we relax into this truth. And I'd like you to, if you're bringing anything to mind, any burden that's on your shoulders, to allow it to turn to some liquid and just melt off of your shoulders into Mother Earth, who loves to take your burden away from you. And in this lightness of knowing all that is I am, let's experience a moment of silence. You and your still small voice, always there. Divine order guides my life. Everything that happens, every soul with whom I come into contact, and especially the coming into contact with the I Am, is a holy moment. Everything happens for me to know more and more of the beauty and the power, the resilience, and then for me to be able to share that with my brothers and sisters in this beautiful and brief time I have in this life. I keep it simple. I don't strive. I allow. I relax into my divinity. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. Okay, I'm Redelia Brownlee, and I am the board chair here. And I want to say I got so much out of what you said. I just have to say it because I went through the very same thing. It wasn't a wallet. It was my remote control. And I couldn't find it. And I went through every emotion and feeling that you had. I almost put my cat out the house because I thought she had moved it. So thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't have to go through that, and I won't ever do it again. But anyway, so again, I'm Redelia Brownlee, and Unity of Oak Park is a self-funded spiritual community Your offerings help us continue to make a difference so that we can come together for service and events, pay for the operations of the church and our Sunday team. Know your contributions matter to keep our communities a dream alive and the dream alive. There are many ways to give. You can use the Support Unity button on our website, text a donation to 708-980-0073 from your phone, or place a check or cash in the basket or at the door. And of course, mail a check to our office. We are so grateful for your financial contributions, in addition to your donations of time and talent, which allow our ministry's mission to grow and thrive. Now let us invite our prayer chaplains forward as we prepare our offerings. Chaplains are here and available to pray with you and support you before and after service. And please join them every Monday on Zoom for prayer and meditation. Details are on our website. Let us affirm our offering prayer together as we bless all the prayers in our hearts, the service we give to make our community operate, and the financial offerings we contribute that make our community thrive. Divine love expressing as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and all that I give. So it is. Amen.
Too little of what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now, it's love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. The world needs now is love, sweet love. Don't be just a song, but for everyone. The only thing that there's just too little of. Thank you so much. Thank you for the message. Thank you for having me yet again. I am Caress Zahor, and it is always a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that beautiful music, everybody. Good morning, my name is Tiffany. A great way to know what is happening here at Unity of Oak Park and to be engaged is by visiting our website. If you are new, please sign up for our newsletter from our website. You may also stop by our community table in the back to pick up a welcome package and join us for fellowship after the service in the solarium. Everyone is invited to visit our community table to find out about our gala, upcoming events, and volunteer experiences. Here are a couple of highlights you can explore by visiting our community table or our events page on our website. There will be an animal pet blessing outside on the lawn on Saturday, September 23rd. Prosper Beyond Your Usual Ways two-part class facilitated by Rev Ev beginning Thursday, September 28th. There's a mask making workshop Saturday, September 30th. And book your cabin Spirit at Sea cruise with Unity of Oak Park and Reverend Heidi to Baja, Mexico in January 2024. More information at the community table in the back. And we are excited to welcome Lynn Wilder from the Work Group for Positive Youth Development, a group that brings, there's Lynn there standing up so everyone can see. This is a group that brings Oak Park and River Forest Townships together to support youth in making healthy choices to live alcohol and drug-free lives. This workshop will introduce Unity to Positive Youth Development's work, as well as provide parents with tools to talk to their children about the sensitive topic of alcohol and drug use. All are welcome and encouraged to attend and learn how to support our youth. And the workshop takes place today in the chapel at 11:30 a.m. And now I call up the gala team for a special announcement.
Hello. What the world needs now is love. And I know I love you all, so I got to cry up here. Come on. It was so beautiful. Thank you, Heidi, for a beautiful lesson. Come on, Susan.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm up here today to talk about the gala, and what the Unity Church of Oak Park needs right now is some donations. On your seat, here's ways you can help, ways you can think about maybe people you know, maybe things you have, maybe some access that could, maybe you could donate a little part of that so that we can put together some great auction gifts. The silent auction gifts are always baskets that people bid on. They go up on the website. I know you've looked at the gala website, but we'll help you get into it. These things are the things that people find attractive, and they would like to bid and give us money for them. That's what we want, okay? Because that allows our church to do wonderful things. The other thing we need is more artwork. So we have the artwork that's donated for the gala is a different kind of category. We really like to encourage people that do their own art, a place to bring things that they'd like to display. And when a piece of art is sold, it's just a 50-50 split. This is not an auction like the other items. But we need more of these because it's a way to showcase talents that people have, and we like to do that. That's part of our community drive. But I was out all Saturday and Sunday, and I'm going to tell you, people are happy to give us things. Please, any place you go a lot, when you go for dinner, turn around and say, gosh, this is a great place. I called Scott. I texted Scott and said, are you going to Victory this weekend to eat? Favorite place for Rev Evan Scott? He said no, so I went. I'm like, just need to know. I mean, the people in Oak Park are really supportive of us, and we need you to kind of access that. So thank you so much. If you have anything, I've got these donation forms. I will have them out at the gala table. You can pick one up. You can go online and enter your donation, or you can just call me or anybody else, and we'll come and get it for you and do the form. So we'll be out there. To you. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. So yes, you know, we always have fun. The baskets are really fun to bid on, and it's a great thing. But right now, I'm here to tell you that we have until midnight tonight to buy and be part of the raffle for the Night on the Town raffle. So if you buy your tickets by midnight tonight, everyone who's bought from last week to this week, and Michelle, we have about 30-something, or? No. Tickets to the event. We have about 40 people that are already bought, so they're in the raffle. And whoever comes between now and midnight, I'm one's going to go in. I'm going to buy my ticket tonight, and then we're going to get a raffle. And you get a chance to win one night at the Ritz and a $200 gift card to the Gage restaurant downtown. So that's an extra little perk for buying early. So please. No, this is going to be, we're going to announce this next week, right? Next week, the winner will be announced of who won this. So. $100 a ticket, or you can buy a table and create your own table for $900. So tickets are on sale afterwards, but if you want to be part of this raffle and go to the Ritz-Carlton and have a nice night, your bed's made, towels, and a nice dinner. I love to have my bed made. Come on in. So anyhow, thank you so much.
We would also like to bless our youth leaders, Chris Manville and Baba Tony, and our youth upstairs. Please rise and join us for the prayer of protection, followed by the peace song as we conclude the service.